Hi guys, so today I just got this Samsung A42 delivered to me. Let's do an unboxing and some preliminary test of the device, right? So I also don't know much about the device itself. Let's just unbox to find out together. So right away you notice the box is actually smaller for supposedly mid-end device. I think that's one way to cut cost. Of course, looking at you, Apple. And if you compare it to the Note 20 Ultra box, it's smaller all along, right? Okay, so let's remove the seal. Okay, one more thing. Okay. No. Okay, let's remove the plastic seal. Okay, the sticker is still intact. So let's break the sticker. Okay. Alright, so here's the device. Inside here I think is the SIM removal tool and some user manual crap which nobody actually reads, right? Then here's the device. Okay, actually it feels quite good in hand, but let's put it aside and take a look at the accessories. Okay, that's your power brick. We are here in Singapore, so this is a UK socket, and yeah, there's a 15-watt charger. I don't know whether the device itself supports more than 15 watts, but anyway, it comes with a 15-watt power brick, just like the S20 FE. So not unlike the flagship devices, where you get a 25-watt charger, right? Then it's a Type A to Type C cable. I have plenty of charging cables and chargers, so I'll just leave this there. Okay, and that's pretty much it in the box. There is no headphone, of course, for saving cost as well, right? Okay, let's put the box aside and take a look at the device. Okay, remove the plastic. Oh, it's here. Oh, okay. This is, I don't know, it feels like a glass bag to me. So it's actually using better material than the $1,000 plus S20 FE, right? And this white color actually has shine to it, like the S20 series, if you know. The white color actually looks pretty amazing. Here is a white S10 for comparison, and the S10 has S10 Plus. The S10 Plus has a shimmering effect to it, like there is a slightly bluish tone to it, but this is just pure white. But it also has this 4 segments of different textures. It's a little bit difficult to tell on camera, but yeah, it's there anyway. Okay, so let's turn on the device. Is there screen protector? Okay, no. So you don't get the free factory screen protector on this A42, where you have that for all your other S or Note series devices, right? So no screen protector for you. I think the device itself feels pretty good. Oh, and since we are here, let's take a look at the bezel. Okay, of course, you're not getting the most premium design, so let's just compare it to one generation older flagship. The bezel is still a bit larger than the S10 Plus, but I think overall this device feels good and premium in hand. And the display is also slightly larger. Okay, and about the camera reminds me of the Nova, if you know, Huawei Nova. Okay. Yeah, so now let me set up the device. So now we are actually trying to take our fingerprint, setting up the fingerprint reader. This thing has if I'm not wrong, it's an optical fingerprint sensor, which is different from the ultrasonic ones on your normal Samsung flagship devices. Let's see how many. Okay, the setup process feels quite similar to the ultrasonic fingerprint sensors. It doesn't take too long, but later we'll have to test the speed. Skip, finish. Alright, there you have it. The A42 already set up, and the phone software information. Okay, it's running One UI 2.5 on Android 10. I believe it will be updated to Android 11, One UI 3.0, but maybe it will take a bit longer than the S and Note series. Do we have the gesture navigation? Oh, okay. So the system feels almost the same as the One UI on your S or Note, right? So there's no difference, and it feels quite smooth, fluid. Of course, we don't have high refresh rate display, but it's okay. I mean, yeah. And the overall responsiveness feels pretty okay. But of course, I'll have to install more apps to properly test the performance and such. Now about let's try the fingerprint reader. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, quite fast. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's use the S10 Plus as a reference. Okay, so almost no difference there. And the A42. Oh, you have to put your finger there for a bit longer for it to register, right? Okay. Now I'll download some apps and finish the setup, and see you in a while. Okay, guys, so I'm back. Just now I've finished the setup of the device and ran a few benchmarks, and also took a couple of photos to better show you. On my right, I have the S10 Plus. This is the so-called the best device I can think of to compare with this A42. It's the flagship from about 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago. And this is your brand new mid-range mid-low range device, right? Currently, I think they can be bought at pretty similar prices. Here in Singapore is $400 to $500. And keep in mind, this is the Snapdragon version. So I never recommend the Exynos version of S10, S20 or anything to anyone. Don't buy the Exynos version if you have a choice, alright? So firstly, let's take a look at the low light photo. Okay, so on the A42 you have, if I'm not wrong, 48 megapixel 4-in-1 pixel binning sensor, which is on paper larger than the one on S10 Plus, but both of them with night mode on. I took a photo from the main lens out of my window, and you can see actually the S10 Plus is still better. It's brighter, and if you zoom in, the detail on S10 Plus is slightly better, and there's less noise. So overall, it's quite clear to see this is a better photo, right? So I think in terms of low light photography, S10 Plus still wins. And one very annoying thing with the A42 is that once you switch to night mode, you can't change lens. So there is an ultra wide lens, but you can't use it for night mode. It's just like your iPhone 11 or anything before iPhone 12, right? You have the ultra wide angle lens, but it does not support night mode. Then the result is pretty terrible if you are using ultra wide angle in low light, because the lens has a very small aperture. It also has small pixel size, and without night mode, and the result is pretty terrible. So look at this. This is ultra wide angle with night mode on the S10 Plus, and this is the ultra wide without night mode because you don't have it on the A42. Okay, so I think it's pretty clear that in terms of low light photography, the old flagship still is still much better than the new A series, right? So that's a win for the S10 Plus. Okay, so I also ran some benchmarks. Let's unlock. Okay, firstly, let's take a look at the Geekbench. Oh, never mind. Let's firstly check out the specs of this device, right? So it's the new what is it called, a Snapdragon 750G processor. So it's built on 8nm process. It actually has two A77 cores. That's pretty impressive, because your A77 is actually the Cortex cores you found in you can find in Snapdragon 865 or your Kirin 9000. Those are pretty new flagship devices, right? So it actually has a A77 core. So on the Snapdragon 855, you actually have A76, which is one generation older than this, right? And it actually have 8GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage. So the specs is pretty good. I think 8GB of RAM is pretty enough for your daily multitasking. And 128GB of storage is also pretty decent, right? So let's take a look at the benchmark. You can see here that the single core performance is actually pretty similar. 660 here and little above 700 here. But because this thing only has 2 big cores, but the Snapdragon 855 has 4 big cores, so the multi-thread performance here is better. It's much better than this, right? That's 4 big cores versus 2 big cores. That's your difference. And for Antutu benchmark, open my Antutu. So here on the S10 Plus, you have well above 400,000 points, but here is 326,000 points, right? So in terms of raw performance, the S10 Plus is still better. Your Snapdragon A55 is still better. I think the most significant difference is for GPU. That's like more than double the performance. Here is 166 and here is only 78. But take a look at this. This is very interesting. What I noticed is this A42 device, it doesn't heat up nearly as much as your flagship devices. So if I run the Antutu benchmark, right, the battery performance merely increased by 0.1 degrees. That's crazy, you know, and the battery only dropped by 2%. But here on the S10 Plus, your battery dropped by 5%, and the temperature actually increased much more significantly by 5 degrees. So that's your more modern architecture on modern process node. And when you limit the frequency to a very low level, then the result is extremely efficient device and long battery life, right? So from what I see, under stress, this thing will last more than twice as long as this, right? And then last one, let's take a look at 3D Mark. Okay, my results. Okay, and yes, that's when I say the GPU performance of the 855 is still much better than this. So that's almost twice the performance, right? 2000 versus 1100 here. And both of them are doing pretty good in the stress test. This thing is almost never throttle. It still maintains 99.5% of performance, while the 855 maintains 97.3% of performance, so almost no throttling. But it's just the raw performance here is almost twice as much as this, right? Okay, so guys, I think that's it for the for my initial thoughts and unboxing of this A42 device. In the coming days, when I have time, I'll definitely run some games on it and show you the FPS, the power record, and the temperature and extra. But so far, it looks pretty good to me, and I'll see you in my next video.